Oh, looks like we're live, and I'm so excited. We're going to give it just a couple of moments to see who comes in on the chat because we have an unboxing of the Spirit Keepers Tarot edition, second edition. So excited. So, a little bit ago, I was in my office seeing a client, and I heard the postman drop off some boxes. And, wasn't quite sure who the boxes were for. And I was expecting a few things in the mail. And once I finished the session, I opened the door and I saw a package on the floor. And when I picked up the package, it said Benebell win. And I was like, OMG, so excited. So before we get started, let me go ahead and bring in the chimes. Welcome, Conjure Knits. Welcome. So let's take a moment to take a nice, deep, centering breath to welcome us into this sacred space. Welcome. And please excuse my voice. It's a little bit scratchy right now. So, any of you who have been following my channel, at least for the last 9 months, maybe 10 months, you know that I'm a big fan of Benebell Wynn, who, if you look down at the description box below, you will see a link to this amazing woman's website. She is a corporate attorney. She's an artist. She might take a little aback at the word using artist because she wasn't formally trained in university, but she is an amazing artist. She's creative. I wish I lived where she lived so I could eat some of the amazing things that she's constantly posting on Facebook. She is a tarot professional. She wrote the book, oh my gosh, what's the name of her book? Holistic Tarot. She wrote. She is an author of many tarot courses, I Ching practitioner course. She created an oracle deck using Chinese bone script. You name it, she has just about done it. Last summer, I think it was last summer, yeah, last June, believe it's already been a year, she began the first edition of Spirit Keepers Tarot. And this is the first edition. She produced this deck, had the deck, she conceived it, drew it, had it printed. I think it was like 3 months flat. This thing was out the door and I had a copy of it. This is the first edition right here. And the first edition was such a success. And eventually she went ahead and did a second edition. And it just arrived today. And let me take out my copy. And too bad the internet does not have smell-o-vision. This deck is anointed with holy oil that Benebell had created herself, and it is just amazing. So let me go ahead without further ado. Here is the second edition, which is the Vitruvian edition, second edition to the Spirit Keepers. And right on top, which is what she included with the first edition, which is a really lovely magnet, sort of like the guardian for the deck. So we're going to set that right there. And, oh no, I don't have my glasses with me. So each deck, instead of being numbered like this is deck number 1 out of 2000 or whatever, the decks are named. And I just realized and she has a book with all 2000 names of the deck. And this deck, so this certification of vital record, which is almost like a birth certificate. This is a certified, I can't read it, certified abstract of birth for Arunia. That is the name of this particular deck, documenting the authenticity of this deck, anointed by Benebell Wynn. So Arunia, let me see if I can do a quick lookup for the meaning of the name Arunia. And I believe she included the meanings of the names. And so what I'm doing right now, which you can't see behind the screen, is I am going to, let's see, bringing up the digital files. Let's see. All right. Package. Oh no, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find it quick enough. I would really like to see what the name Arunia means. Let's see. Okay, hold on one moment. I think I looked up the wrong address. All right, there we go. Okay, so we're going to look into the premium files, book of names. We're going to look up what Arunia means. Statistics of vital records. And she gives you a little background. I mean, this woman came up with 2,000 names. Let me find Arunia. I know this is holding up some of the impatient people. I had someone leave a comment on my video. It took you 3 minutes before you got to the deck. Let's see, is Arunia, does she give meanings? All right, there's no meaning. It's just a list of the names. Let me do a quick Google search to see what a meaning of name Arunia. It's a Hindi name, Arunia. Arunia means merciful and compassionate. Very cool. Thank you, Benebell. Okay, so this deck is called Arunia. So this will be my Arunia deck. All right, and let me hit something to break the cellophane. Well, easier said than done. There we go. So once we get the cellophane off, it'll be that much easier to actually see the deck. So this is the first edition of Spirit Keepers right here, the black deck. And then this deck is more sepia toned. All right. And it has the little jewels on the side. This elegant, amazing keepsake box for the deck is very strong. I like it when decks have the indentions, and it makes it that much easier to be able to open the deck. Now, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is the inside of the deck. Very nice keepsake box. Whether or not you keep your boxes in the original deck or not, which I generally do not. Oh, isn't that beautiful? It's almost like it's a little altar, a little shrine unto itself. And here is the little white book that comes with the deck. Hold on one moment. I think I better turn on another light and get out my glasses. There's Latin written all along the sides of the box. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the Latin. This one is called or not called. God will be there. Oh, this is the same saying in Latin. Vocatus atque non vocatus, which is probably not the way it's supposed to be pronounced. Deus adoret. Very nice. And the cards themselves. Oh, very nice cardstock, very luxurious. And you have the gold gilding along the sides of the deck. Let's see if I can get that in there. I know it's almost hard to see because of all the light reflecting off of it. So let's take a look at the cards. They are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna go ahead and put this to the side. And what's really neat about Benebell Wynn's Spirit Keeper deck is that generally the tarot decks have 78 cards. So you have the Fool's card, and then the Magician, and the High Priestess, and the Empress, the Emperor, so on and so forth. In the Spirit Keeper's deck, there are 3 Fool's cards to choose from. You have the Initiate, and then the Seeker, Spirit in search of science. The Initiate is Spirit in search of experience. The colors are just amazing. It's almost like a parchment colored background, and then sepia toned art instead of the black and white art. Seeker, Spirit in search of science. The Keeper, Spirit in petition of spirit. And there are various differences between the first edition and the second edition. Let me see if I can show you the first edition. I'm not even sure if I have the cards in the proper order in this deck. And it doesn't look like they are, but here's just an example. Let's see something. Okay, here you go. I can at least show you the first. I can at least show you the Fool's cards in the first edition. So you have the second edition right here, the sepia tone, and you have the first edition right here. So this is a little bit of a difference between the 2 editions. And then this Seeker, slight differences in those cards. And then the Keeper card, and she goes on to explain why she completely changed those cards. So there you go. Those are some of the differences between the first edition and the second edition. So let's put those over there and go ahead with the rest of the cards. They are gorgeous and they feel so good in your hand. So this is the Magician, the Magus, Divinity and Man, Powers of the Spirit, the Priestess, Sanctuary of Isis, Empress, the Empress, number 3, Gloria Mundi, Aranya's Gate. This is one of my favorite cards. I love the swan. Highly symbolic for me. I know the Emperor card, which is also different in the 2 decks. This is the Emperor. Commander of Intellections. The Hierophant. the Holy See, Master of the Arcanes, the Lovers. Oh, these cards are so beautiful. The Lovers, Mystery of the Covenant. The Chariot, Lux et Veritas, Chariot of Osiris. The Force, or the Strength card. The Tamed Lion. The Erudite, which corresponds with the Hermit. Hermit of the Mysteries. And I believe also this card might be a little different from the first edition. Okay, let's switch hands. Wheel of Life. The Sphinx, Destiny Turning. Okay, that hand doesn't cooperate very well. The Chancellor, which is the Justice card. Angel of Justice. I like the Ankh in the background. The Scales. The Iris. The Hangman, or the Hanged One, is the Outlaw. Sacrifice and redemption. The Reaper. Passage to initiation, which I think that's also the Death card. The Angel, which is Temperance, a divine higher genius. The Demon, 15, battling the Typhon. The Tower, material and spiritual colliding. Really love the tones of these cards. And if you didn't really get to look at the back, here's the back. And that in comparison with the back of the first edition. The Healer, Gifts of the Spirit. Number 17, the Healer. The Necromancer. Oh, I love that scarab beetle there up at the top. The Necromancer, Gateway of Resurrection. The Warrior, Master of the Mystic Light. So I know there was like a pre-order phase, and then if you missed the pre-order, as far as I know, the deck still is for sale. It's whatever stock, because it was a limited edition deck of only 200. 2,000 were printed, 1,000 of the first edition and 2,000 of the second. And from what I understand, there will not be any other editions for many, many, many years to come. So if you do want to get a copy of the Spirit Keepers Tarot, definitely check out Benebell's website. She also includes a book that goes along with the deck, a 740-page book called the Book of Maps. Very amazing book. She, instead of, what generally comes with the deck are these little white books, and she also has what she terms a medium white book, which is a larger size book that you can use with the deck. but it's not as meaty and really in depth as the Book of Maps. That is, I think, like 740 pages or 780. Apocalypse, Last Judgment, New World Order, Crown of the Magi. I believe this one has changed as well. Sacred Fire, Ace of Scepters, The Awakening. Holy Water, Ace of Chalices, The Purifying. There's so much symbolism and depth in these cards. Sacred Cinnabar, Ace of Swords, The Consummating. Bread of Life, Ace of Orbs, The Darkening. Get all the hieroglyphs back there, the orbs, the Merkaba. A lot of good symbolism. The Discerning One, Two of Scepters. The Joined One, Two of Chalices. Oh, and also with the deck in the premium edition, you do receive copies of the book in PDF format. And there is a 22-week lesson planner that comes along so that you can go through the deck in 22 weeks and really learn the deck. That's another wonderful benefit of Benebell's work. I mean, when she does something, she doesn't just go halfway or 3/4 of the way or all the way. She goes 218% of the way plus, plus, plus. The Blind Seer, Two of Swords. The Nocturne, Two of Orbs. The Politic, Three of Scepters. The Kindred, Three of Chalices. The Bereaved, which I believe this card has also changed as well. Look at that. I know someone that would really love this. I have a friend who does amazing stained glass work, and I bet she would love this. Bereaved, Three of Swords. The Mason, Three of Orbs. I mean, there, look at the angelic script there. The Philosopher's Stone, which, by the way, I recently got my first and second tattoo recently. And right here, the Philosopher's Stone, that's my second tattoo. Archangel of Glory, Angel of Art and Grace. Archangel of Healing, Angel who solves and purifies. Angel Commander, Angel of Storms and Battles. Archangel of mysteries, angel who illuminates the shadow. You could do a lot of dream work, inspiration for journaling, dream work, some astral travel in there, your talismans, all sorts of things with this amazing esoteric deck. You can go as deep as you like or as shallow as you like. The Golden Shield, power of authority of fire. The Golden Shield. The Ivory Shield, power of authority of water. The Triqueta there. This is just lots of wonderful symbolism. The Scarlet Shield, power and authority of air. I like the feather crown. Ebony Shield, power and authority of earth. Catch the Andrika symbols there. The apple in the hand. The antlers coming out. The Shining Flame, lightning and the pyre. Pegasus. These cards are all hand drawn by Benebell. Let's see. That doesn't seem to come in very well. There we go. There we go. The Shining Dew, waters and waves. So the first one was the Pegasus. This one is the Pegasus unicorn. My little one has been reading a book series, I think it's called Narwhal, which is basically like the unicorn of the ocean. I don't know if it's a fish or a mammal, but it looks like a miniaturized whale, and it has a singular horn on its head. The Shining Winds, a swirling gale. The Shining Quarry, wild and fertile land, like the orb and the scarab beetle. Homage to ancient Kemet. Stronghold of the flame, herald of the awakening. Looks like a salamander gripping onto the scepter. Is that a mandrake root in the background? Stronghold of the Grail, herald of the purifying. And you have the lobster there. Stronghold of the Zephyrs, herald of the consummating. An owl. Stronghold of the veil, herald of the darkening. I'm not sure if that's a jackal or a wolf in the orbs. The demiurge, four of scepters. Sort of reminds me of the Dharma wheel, the way these scepters are being held up. The hollow void, four of chalices. the hollow void. The convalescent, 4 of swords. The conservator, 4 of orbs. That is an amazing card. Look at that. Almost get goosebumps looking at that card. You can feel the energy from that. The 4 elements in the background. The contender, 5 of scepters. The grotesque, 5 of chalices. There's a lot going on in these images. The Hector, 5 of swords. The vagabond, 5 of orbs. The champion, 6 of scepters. The memory keeper, 6 of chalices. Beautiful. The ferryman, 6 of swords. And there is the philosopher's stone once again. I'll show you my tattoo at the end of this video. The giver, 6 of orbs. The dark horse, 7 of scepters. The corruptor, 7 of chalices. The rogue, 7 of swords. And also what I like about her deck is they are grouped. The cards, generally decks come in and you have the 22 major arcana, and then you have the 4 suits, you know, whether it's the cups, the pentacles or the coins, the swords, and the wands. They're generally grouped together, all the swords together, all of etc together. But with hers, it's sectioned off into what the role is. So the 7s are all together, the 8s are all together, you know, the kings, the queens, so on and so forth. They're all together. The gardener, 7 of orbs. The sharpshooter, 8 of scepters. There is a lot of motion and energy. Lots of energy. There's so much movement in this card. But yet it's sort of like a pinpoint stillness. Ready for that moment. The sharpshooter. The defector. There again, the philosopher's stone, the crescent moon, the ibis. 8 of chalices. The captor, 8 of swords. She looks very bound. 8 of swords. The journeyman, 8 of orbs. And there, you see the runes on the face, the caduceus. The malaise, 9 of scepters. Wish granted, 9 of chalices. It's one of my favorite cards. It brings in the I Ching. power. The wish granted, 9 of chalices. The haunt, 9 of swords. Not sure how that gets out of focus. Let's see. It's not really coming into focus right now. There we go. The eminence, 9 of orbs. It's another powerful card. Look at the little snail right down there at the bottom. That's a very regal card. The burdened one, 10 of scepters. The joyous one, 10 of chalices. The destroyer, 10 of swords. You see a little hand coming up out of that. Ooh. Someone's being obliterated right there. The dynasty or dynasty, 10 of orbs. Another powerful card. Tree of life. Dualism, polarity. And we are back to the keeper. The first, well, it's not the first, that is, there we go, the initiate, the first of the Fool's card, the first of the 3 Fools. So there you have it. That was the walkthrough of Benebell Winds Spirit Keeper Tarot, 2nd edition. And you just witnessed the walkthrough for Arunya, the deck of mercy and compassion. And as I mentioned before, each deck in the 2nd edition, each 2,000 decks, 2,000 decks in the 2nd edition, all have their own individual name, and they were all anointed with sacred holy oil that Benebell created herself. And this is the beautiful deck, beautiful box. It's written with all sorts of power phrases in Latin all throughout it, and lots of sacred geometry. As the Spirit Keepers Tarot, 2nd edition. So again, if you're interested in purchasing this deck, go on over to Benebell Winds page, benebell.com. Her link is listed below. And it's the 2nd edition, the Vitruvian edition. And I've already done a walkthrough of the 1st edition. The 1st edition was in black and white. There have been changes made to many of the cards. And the 2nd edition, of course, is in the sepia tone. Yeah, there's a change of the 7 of chalices. That was definitely, I remember that. Both decks are incredible. Just a quick overview. Sorry, I think I was up a little too far into the camera, so let's try that again. So this is the 1st edition. That was just a limited to 1,000 cards. And the 2nd edition, I believe she still has some available, so check out her website. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. There's lots of free downloads and supplements and things to help beginner tarot people, intermediate, advanced, wherever you are in your tarot journey, Benebell Wynn has something awesome for you. She is the author of the book Holistic Tarot and the Tao of Craft, which is an absolutely amazing book. Check that out as well. And this is the box for the first edition. Spirit Keepers Tarot, first edition and second edition. All right, guys, thanks for checking out this video, and have a great day. Let's take a moment to remember our ancestors and those who have come before us. Peace and great bliss.